So imagine my shock, right? I open up like my monthly rate statement, and as a diligent payer, by the way, paying off my rate every month without fail. And as far as I was concerned, like my account was up to date, and then boom, 10,000 Rand on my statement. How, Jani? What happened? I just didn't understand. Hello, hi my good people, welcome back to Property Talk with y'all, where we talk all things property and equip you guys to make the best property, investment and purchasing decisions. Now, if you own property, guys, now you will know that there is this ongoing cost that you have to pay every month without fail for as long as you still own that property. And ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about rates. Property rates. Why the hell did I owe City of Johannesburg almost 10 grand? What are rates? Why do we have to pay them? How are they calculated? What happens if you don't pay? We have seen a great example from the city of Tshwane recently, where they went around the city, right, and they were cutting off services to entities which were owing like millions and millions of unpaid rates for years to them. So I'm here to answer all those questions. Let's get into this video. So why do I owe City of Johannesburg almost 10 grand, or did owe? I'll put the email somewhere up so you guys can see it. But basically, due to the incompetence, I would say, and basically they had not been charging me for refuse removal, as in like garbage removal, since the date of registration of my property. Now, I bought this property in 2019 and it was registered in March of 2019. So basically since then, they had not been charging me for pick it up services. Now, if you stay in Johannesburg, you will know that Pick It Up is a waste management service provider for Joburg. So basically on my statement that I received every month, there was supposed to be two amounts, right? One for rates, which covers all your other services that the municipality provides, and then one for Pick It Up, which is separate, right? But City of Johannesburg, they were not charging me for Pick It Up, which was obviously like negligence on their side, of course, but I still had to pay that money because it's still a service that they had provided, but they just failed to charge me for it. Not fair, right? But what can you do in that situation? Basically, all those Pick It Up monthly amounts from March 2019, I think it's about 200 and something. So every single month from then up until Feb 2020, right? They were charging me for all those amounts. And that's why in my statement, when I got my statement in Feb of 2022, when I got my statement, it had all those amounts, literally. And that's why my statement for that particular month was almost 10,000 Rand. Shock to my system, because previously, the only thing that appeared on my statement was just rates, the amount for rates, which I was paying every month, right? I wasn't aware that Pick It Up was a separate charge. I just assumed it was part of the total rates amount that I paid every month. I honestly wasn't aware. Should I have known that? Maybe I should, but to be honest, whatever they were sending me every month, I thought that was the amount that I needed to pay, and that's what I was paying. Yo, guys, it's 10,000 that you didn't budget for, that just like out of the blue, out of nowhere. Yeah, no. And that's why I always say, when it comes to owning property or investing in property, there's always something that comes up that's going to need your money, like unexpected costs, guys. They will come up. And that's why it's so important to have an emergency fund, have some sort of savings to save you in situations like that. Because even though, it wasn't my fault, it was their fault that they didn't charge me for all these months, or basically years of Pick It Up services. As I said, they were providing the service, right? Every month they were picking up my garbage. Well, I stayed in a estate, but they were providing the services for that particular estate. So essentially, I still had to pay it, and I tried to work around it, but there was no other way. Like, I literally had to pay that amount. Okay, now that we've spoken about the 10,000 Rand and why I owe City of Johannesburg, I wanted to answer the question, what are rates and why do we actually have to pay them? Now, this is an amount paid to the municipality for basic services that are provided by that municipality. In my case, both of my properties are in Johannesburg, and these services are provided by the city of Johannesburg, right? So these services include stuff like maintenance of roads, street lighting, storm drainage, sidewalks, garbage removal, sewerage, firefighting, etc. The list goes on. As I mentioned, for City of Johannesburg specifically, like refuse removal is a separate line item on your statement, and all the other services will then be covered under the rates, right? Rates amount. And it's actually quite easy to calculate the amount. And I think the great thing is that you are able to calculate the rates that you will pay on your property before you even buy it, right? Which means it can't ever come as a surprise, and you actually know beforehand. Okay, so how is this amount calculated? So it's basically a function of the market value of your property as well as something called a rand multiplier. So if you buy a property in a city that has a higher rand multiplier, then you'll pay more for rates. And also the more expensive your property is, then you'll also pay more, right? So as I said, rates a function of the value of your property and the rand multiplier. And this rand multiplier, it's a number that's determined by the city's annual budget. And there are different rand multipliers for different cities and different categories depending on the type of property that you're buying or you're staying in. So sectional title property in Cape Town might have a different rate amount versus a sectional title property in Joburg, basically because these two cities will have different rand multipliers. Something else you need to know is that properties that are valued at less than 350,000 rand don't have rates levied against them, but these properties do pay like a mandatory small amount, I think like 100 rand or less, but it's a small amount, a monthly levy for like municipal public services. And also the first 350,000 rand of all residential property value is exempt from rating. Okay, which means that whatever you buy your property for, you can minus the first 250k because you don't have to pay levies on that amount. Okay, so let's do a step-by-step calculation for one of my properties, and this is a one-bedroom apartment in a sectional title, meaning an estate in Johannesburg. So the first step is to get the valuation of the property, and you're able to get this information from different platforms, but the best is on the municipality website, on the e-website. The info will be available there, and the value of my current property is about 820,000, right? Step 2, remember I said that the first 350k on any property you buy is exempt, so subtract 350k from the total to arrive at the value that is actually rateable. So that's my 820 minus 350k, and I will only be rated or charged rates on 470k. I think that's what it is. Let me check. So 820 minus 450. So I will only be charged rates on 450,000 rand. Step 3, remember I mentioned the rand multiplier. So you multiply that amount that I've just calculated by the rand multiplier. So I've done that already. The rand multiplier for the city of Johannesburg for a sectional title property in the city of Johannesburg is 0.00822 rands. So I've done that multiplication, and I get to an amount of about 3,700 rand, but that's the annual amount. I divide that by 12, and approximately the rates add up to about 310 rand, right? 308 rand and 25 cents to be exact. In this case, that amount excludes the pick it up. Remember, pick it up is like a separate line item. So this is just the rate amount, which covers all the other services except for pick it up. And that's simply how you calculate your rate amount. Now that rand multiplier value that I mentioned, that is also, as I said, it's different for each city. It's different depending on the type of property that you're staying in. and that information is available on the municipality website as well. You can get like a table and a breakdown, and it will tell you all the different rand multipliers, as I said, depending on the type of property that you bought or you're staying in. So back to my dilemma of the 10,000 rand. So basically I had two options to pay this amount off. So the first one is to obviously pay it off as a lump sum and just, get it over and done with. And the second option they gave me is to make a payment arrangement with the municipality. And basically the requirements from the city of Johannesburg are that you have to pay a 30% deposit of the owing amount. So I would have had to pay 3,000 rand of the 10,000 rand up front. And then the balance, so like the 7,000 rand, you can either pay it off in 6 months or 12-month installments. And during this time, they won't charge you any interest on the owing amount since you made a payment arrangement essentially. And then I think the other question then is what happens if you don't pay? Well, normally what they'll do is hand over your account to attorneys for like further legal action. And you may also be liable for the legal costs and fees on your account as well. And also they are very quick shame, like to remind you that they do have the right to terminate services in the event that you don't pay, so like non-payment. And it's basically that simple. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my story for today. I did end up paying the whole amount once off as a lump sum, and that's why I always say very important to have some sort of emergency fund or savings when you own a property, because these things do come up all the time, unplanned, unbudgeted for. And it can cause a lot of financial strain on you, right? So it's better to just be prepared for the unexpected. So yeah, that's the story for today. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I mean, I didn't know, guys. The cost of me not knowing what I didn't know, even though it wasn't my fault, was 10,000 rand. So I'm hoping that you guys are diligent, you check your statement, you make sure that they're charging you the right amount, because it will catch up with you in the future. Okay, so yeah, please do like, comment, subscribe, get me to 1,000 subscribers please, and do engage with my content. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.